Welcome back. Across Namibia today, women gathered in a nationwide silent standstill, joining a South African-led movement that has declared gender-based violence a national crisis. Now, the shutdown, which began in South Africa, has rapidly spread across the country as women demand urgent action against rising femicide and the persistent failures of the justice systems. Namibian women stood in solidarity this morning, dressed in black, and calling for government to recognize gender-based violence as a national disaster. We now speak to Nsozi Mwazi, the Slut Shame Movement founder and director, as well as Victoria Kalwenya, Tulonga Foundation mentor and coordinator for ESG, about the purpose of this regional movement, what Namibian women are demanding, and what comes next. Ladies, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome.
Thank you. Afternoon. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. And yourselves?
I'm fine, thank you.
The Women for Change movement in South Africa really started something really powerful. And I know you guys were out demonstrating yourselves, but I hope you've looked at your phones and seen some of the footage and what's been happening in SA and how women really rallied together. It was just so incredible, to see. And of course, as we know, this shutdown originated in South Africa, and it was really to get the attention of leaders and policymakers and, people, decision makers ahead of this G20 summit that's happening tomorrow. And I think they have made their point. I don't know if you ladies have heard that President Ramaphosa has indeed said that he will be making a statement on this tomorrow, and he will be declaring gender-based violence as a national disaster in South Africa.
Yes, we saw the wonderful news.
Yeah.
We're actually very happy, and it makes us hopeful as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, talk to us about, why it was important for, Namibian women to join this movement today, Nsozi.
Thank you. So basically, it's very important for Namibian women to join this movement today because we're sending out a message to the government that when a woman stops, the world stops. And it's important for the government to take our lives serious, to value our lives more. And it's also important to show that African women across borders can come together in solidarity and send a bigger message and amplify our voices to demand change and to demand gender-based violence and femicide a national disaster in each of our countries.
100%.
Yes.
Victoria, what is the core message that you want Namibian leaders to have taken from this 15-minute standstill?
The core message is to understand that this is a national emergency, and we are calling for immediate action, and it's an act now with no delay further. So what we want the leaders is to understand that we are tired, we're exhausted, and GBVF, it's upon us now. It's more like a pandemic. It's not just an issue where we look at it and ignore it, but we need to act now. Yes.
Some people might be like, 'cause of course, when, the movement started, there were many contradicting voices as to why this needs to be, classified as a national disaster. But I want to ask, maybe you have some stats, because we read about, just yesterday, we read about cases such as this last week. There's not a week that goes by that we don't read of something like this in Namibia.
Yes.
In South Africa, yes, I think it is a bit more prevalent, but we also experience it at alarmingly high rates, gender-based violence cases. Perhaps you've got some stats to sort of speak about, to amplify why this should be a national disaster and nothing less.
Yes, definitely. So basically, 5,000 GBV cases are registered in Namibia annually, according to the Namibian police, and that's only reported cases.
Right.
So we in Namibia experience just as high as the prevalence that South Africa experiences, just that they are a bigger population and we are a small population. And to think 5,000 cases annually for 2.53 million population is alarming. It's a problem, and this becomes 13 cases daily. As we're planning this shutdown, we reported 4 cases. We had the Usakos lady last week, and we had Maggie this week, we had Justine this week. So it's been constant, and as much as we try to run away from it, we cannot. It's become normalized. Before, violence was something that was far in between. Now it's an everyday situation, and we need change. We need Namibia to do better. Our government is currently telling us that an animal's life is worth more, because when you poach an animal in Namibia, you get sentenced to to 25 years. But for rape, you only get 10 years, which was increased to 15 years last year because Honorable Yvonne Dowsep, that time when she was the Minister of Justice, she implemented the amended Rape Combat Bill. And that was to increase the years of sentencing for rape, which went from 10 years to 15 years. But still, poaching still gets 15 more years than we do as women. So basically, our government is telling us that animals' lives are worth more than the Namibian woman's life, and that's a big problem. We also have 1 in 3 women between the ages of 15 and 49 have experienced physical or sexual violence before. We have 1 in 6 boys that have experienced sexual violence before, and the main perpetrator, 98% of perpetrators are usually men. And this is a big problem because 45% of Namibians have experienced sexual violence as children. And we can see every day in the reports how children are being abused, how they're being molested, and they're being molested by people they know. It's by their parents, their fathers, their grandparents, their uncles, their brothers. Sometimes, in some cases, it's also their mothers, you know, and it's really, really becoming a big problem. I think for me, what's also worrying is seeing how children are starting to rape children in Namibia. We have under 10 years old raping the other child, but it's now also a double story because the under 10-year-old is also a victim because children that hurt other children experience hurt. They've been hurt before. So we are in a crisis. It's a national emergency, and we need to demand femicide to be declared a national disaster in Namibia. So these are just examples of some of the stats that we have in Namibia, and it's far more reaching, it's far more devastating, and this is only from the reported. So imagine the unreported. I mean, we just recently were informed when we were gathering these protests with our regional point leaders, and these are Namibians who volunteered. They volunteered to step up and organize a national shutdown in their country, in their region. So we couldn't do this alone, and we managed to reach 13 regions. And one of them told us, late Deborah, she was killed in Divundu, and that was not even reported. You know, she was killed in Divundu, and her boyfriend drove her body from Divundu to Rundu. So these are the type of cases that we have in Namibia, and they are gruesome. And the women are being killed mercilessly and being dumped on the ground like they mean nothing. And that's why we also decided to lie down on the ground for 15 minutes to mourn the lives lost, and also to be in solidarity together, because this is outrageous and it's getting out of hand. Outrageous is exactly the correct word. Yes.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I want you guys to show us all what you have here today. These are some of the signages that you made. Just hold it up for us quickly and show us what you had. And of course, we remember Rosalind, Fabian as well. And the girls from Okahanja. And I want to know, Victoria, just tell us, you know, what transpired today at the gathering?
Well, we are pleased to see a lot of women in solidarity, not just women, but all communities, including men also, that show up in solidarity to amplify our voices. And we are happy with the number that turn out. I mean, above 50 is a good number in Windhoek, standing together and still voicing our voice, like our silence, so they can understand, like, without women, the world doesn't exist. And the importance also of that 15 minutes, it's for us to look back and also remember the souls that we have lost, and through that peaceful manner, send their souls, and also to continue fighting for women, for GBVF in Namibia.
Well, just lastly, we're out of time, but just your final messages, not only to your fellow women, but, you know, to the Namibian public in general concerning gender-based violence, and of course what you stood for today. Victoria, let's start with you.
I'm going to say this, that we should act, or we should act on what we say. As Namibia, we need to stand together. We cannot just be on social media and trending, but we need to show up. And when we show up, our government take us serious. Like, as we Namibians, we are tired of situation and GBV that's happening around us. And for that, it's only when we stand together as Namibian in solidarity into making a difference in our community can make and bring change in terms of GBVF.
Thank you so much. Nsozi?
Thank you. Yes, I would also like to add to the point of today's gathering, just that we also had Honorable Mungunda, who was the Minister of Gender Equality there during her reign in 2008 to 2010. And it was very interesting to have her share her experience as a minister and the gruesome stories and how she used to show up as well. And she still shows up in her sensitive age, that she still shows up for us. And to have her every minute with us was very special. And she's also just determined to fight GBV in Namibia. And also, I just have a message for all Namibians to know that they matter. Their voice matters, they deserve freedom, they deserve safety, and they deserve dignity. And it's important that they know that they shouldn't believe that they cannot do anything. As long as you're a human being, as long as you have a voice, you can do something. And it's important to know that you are part of the bigger picture. And we need to come together. Like she said, we need to come together online, but also offline. We need to show our government. Our government cannot see how many retweets, how many posts, but they can see how many people on the ground. And it's important for us, because as you saw with the African women, they came out in thousands, you know, to support this. And it's important for us to come out in thousands as well, to demand change, demand this a national disaster, because gender-based violence affects us all, indirectly or directly. We all came for a woman. If you're not a woman, you came for a woman. And it's important to know that we need to honor a woman's life, because women are the foundation of a society. So it's important that you know that you can be the change you want to see. It starts with you, it starts with at home, and it starts with us as a society to have a violence-free society.
Ladies, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for being here. We really appreciate it.
And please sign the petition and share the petition. Please, we needed to get it to 1,000 signatures, 100,000, and then we'll give it to the office of the president.
Thank you so
please
much.
do share. Yes.
With the hashtag Women Shutdown, hashtag GBVF, and hashtag social justice.
Yes. Thank you.
That was Nsozi and Victoria speaking to us there. We're going to take a very brief break. We'll be back shortly.